The tracking page says delivered. The refund page does not say approved. From the customer's point of view, the return appears to have reached its destination. The parcel is no longer moving. The carrier has recorded a successful delivery, yet the financial outcome is still unresolved. That apparent contradiction comes from treating several different system states as though they were one event. A returned item can be physically delivered without being operationally received, inspected, approved, or released for refund. Each word describes a different stage in the return, inspection, and refund process. The carrier is responsible for transportation. Its tracking system answers a narrow question: did the parcel reach the recorded destination? It does not normally decide whether the item matches the return request. It does not assess the item's condition. It does not determine whether the return complies with the seller's policy, and it does not authorize the refund. So, delivered can be accurate, while approved remains unresolved. The easiest way to understand this is to separate the return into two journeys. The first journey is physical. A parcel moves from the customer through the carrier network to a seller, warehouse, return center, or other designated facility. The second journey is operational. The business records the item, inspects it, applies eligibility rules, decides how the item should be handled, and then moves the return toward a financial outcome. The first journey can end before the second one has properly begun. Imagine the process as a sequence of large state blocks. The first block is carrier delivered. This means the transport network has completed its part of the journey. The parcel has reached the location associated with the return label or shipping instruction. The next block is facility received. These two states may sound identical, but they are not necessarily produced by the same system. A carrier can scan a shipment as delivered when it reaches a loading area, receiving point, or designated destination. The return operation may still need to register the parcel inside its own records. That receiving step can involve identifying the order, matching the tracking number to the return request, recording the item, and placing it into the correct processing queue. Only then does the return move into inspection. Inspection is not one universal procedure. It can vary by product, seller, return route, and policy. But the general purpose is to establish what has actually arrived and how it should be treated. The operation may need to confirm that the package contains the expected item. It may assess whether the item is unused, opened, damaged, incomplete, altered, or missing accessories. It may check serial numbers or other identifying information where relevant. It may also compare the return with the conditions stated in the applicable policy. This is where the physical object becomes an operational decision. The return is no longer just a box that reached a building. It is an item that must be classified. That classification matters because returned products do not all follow the same path. Depending on their condition and the business process, an item may be returned to inventory, restocked, repaired, refurbished, resold through another channel, or removed from normal sale. The inspection therefore serves more than one function. It can protect condition standards. It can support inventory recovery. It can help the business decide whether the item still has recoverable value. It can also support fraud control and policy compliance. Return fraud is a documented operational problem in retail. It can involve situations where the item returned is not the item that was purchased, where components are missing, or where the return does not match the stated condition. That does not mean every customer is treated as suspicious. It means the return process must be capable of distinguishing ordinary eligible returns from exceptions that require further review. After inspection comes the eligibility decision. This is the branch in the state machine. On one side, the return is accepted under the applicable policy and moves toward refund initiation. On the other side, the return may require additional review, clarification, exception handling, or a different outcome. The important point is that eligibility is not determined by the carrier's delivery scan. The carrier confirms arrival. The return operation determines what that arrival means under the policy. This distinction appears clearly in a bounded United States example from Walmart marketplace documentation. In Walmart Marketplace's seller-facing return notification workflow, the event called return_delivered represents a returned shipment reaching the seller or another designated facility. The documentation describes this as a point at which the return can be marked received and inspection can begin. A later event, called return_invoiced, represents the stage at which the refund process begins. Those are separate events. The documentation even shows that a delivered return can still carry a status indicating that it has not yet been refunded. That does not describe every Walmart return route, and it does not mean that customers see all of these internal labels. It shows that inside one documented operational workflow, physical delivery and refund initiation are not the same state. That limitation matters. Walmart Marketplace also documents other return routes in which a refund may begin earlier, including some cases where it can be initiated at the carrier scan. Different products, sellers, exceptions, and return methods can follow different paths. So the example should not be turned into a universal claim about every Walmart return, every retailer, or every country. Its value is narrower and more useful. It demonstrates that a business can formally separate delivery, inspection, eligibility, and refund initiation inside a real return operation. Once eligibility is established, the return can move into refund initiated. This is another state that can be misunderstood. Refund initiated means the business has begun the financial process. It does not necessarily mean the money is already visible to the customer. But that later payment settlement journey is a separate system. The important boundary here is earlier. Before a refund can be initiated, the physical return may still need to complete the inspection and eligibility stages. That is what makes this experience different from a refund that has already been processed but has not yet appeared in an account. Here, the central question is not how money moves through a payment network. It is whether the returned item has completed the operational journey required for a refund decision. Return to the state machine, carrier delivered, facility received, inspection, condition and policy checks, eligibility decision, refund initiated, payment release. Seen as one sequence, the delay becomes easier to interpret. The parcel has completed one state transition, but several later states may still be open. The customer's blind spot is created by the difference between visible and invisible systems. Carrier tracking is usually easy to see. It provides a timestamp, a destination, and a clear completion word such as delivered. The inspection system is less visible. The customer may not see when the parcel was internally registered when inspection began, which policy rule is being applied, or whether an exception has been raised. That imbalance can make the carrier's status feel more final than it really is. The customer sees strong evidence that the physical journey is complete, but the financial decision belongs to another workflow that may not expose the same level of detail. This is why the item can be inside the company's operation, while the outcome still feels as though nothing has happened. The structure also explains why status language matters. Delivered is not a universal synonym for completed. Received may mean recorded by the return facility. Inspected may mean the condition has been assessed. Approved may mean the return has passed the eligibility decision. Refunded may mean that the financial process has been initiated or completed, depending on the system using the word. The same return can therefore be complete in one system and incomplete in another. This does not mean every delay is reasonable. It also does not mean every inspection is necessary in exactly the same form. Inspection time and eligibility can vary by product and policy. A sealed, low-risk item may be handled differently from a high-value electronic device. A direct return to a seller may follow a different route from an item taken to a store. An exception may require more review than a standard return. The evidence supports the existence of separate states and documented operational reasons for them. It does not establish that any particular delay is justified. It does not prove that a refund denial is correct. And delay alone does not establish wrongful denial or deceptive intent. The structure creates a real trade-off. Inspection can help protect inventory value, apply condition standards consistently, reduce certain forms of fraud, and ensure that the item is handled under the relevant policy. But separating these stages also places uncertainty on the customer. The customer can verify arrival while remaining unable to verify the final decision. That uncertainty is not produced because the parcel disappeared. It is produced because the visible tracking event belongs to the transport system, while the unresolved refund belongs to the return decision system. Now, return to the opening moment. The tracking page still says, "Delivered." The refund is still not approved. But the two screens are no longer contradicting each other. One is reporting the completion of transportation. The other is waiting for the completion of inspection. Eligibility and payment release. A carrier-delivered state is the end of the parcel's transport journey. Refund approval is a later operational eligibility state.